Hey, hey, beat baseball world. Welcome back to another edition of the Beat Ball Blue Show. I am Neil DAWG, and I am here with Dr. Bam Bam Clark.
Dogs in the house.
Wow.
P-A-W-G.
I
Yeah.
had had I had folks singing that to me at this past World Series.
Did you?
I did. I don't know if they were doing it full hearted, but it might have been sarcasm, but yeah,
Those folks in
people.
the mirror, Neil.
Yeah. There's usually just one of us in the mirror. Oh man, we got a big group from our championship fire. But I need to circle back to the last show real quick for a few things. Seth, and I tried to get confirmation on one of these things. I left out some of the home run stuff, and if anybody knows the information better than I do, I only mentioned that there are four, but I was doing that off memory. I did go back through the MBBA page today and try to figure it out. I'm not sure, but I think there was a total of six. Catherine Musto had made a comment and reminded me that we missed out on some. Yeah, I think they all came from two teams. I believe Eric Rodriguez and Caleb Wright. I know Caleb hit one, but I believe Eric Rodriguez and Caleb Wright of the Edge hit one, and then Tanner Gears of the Heat hit one, and I believe Noah Finney actually had three home runs. Does anybody
think
have anything that
I think
contradicts
he
that?
I think he had two, and a guy
And
named
someone named
Alex Gonzalez.
Gonzalez.
Yeah,
Oh,
Alex
okay,
Gonzalez at the
okay.
other one. Yeah,
It also from the Heat, though, correct?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's crazy. That so many came, all the home runs came from two teams. But I don't know how I forgot about Caleb's because I saw him at some point on Tuesday and he had told me that he got his first in the World Series. He hit two earlier this summer, giving him three this summer. So I don't know how I forgot that when we did the show, but I did, and that's that. Something I meant to mention when I announced Noah Finney as the male rookie of the year is that they specifically wrote him down as male rookie of the year, but there was no female rookie of the year. So for the fourth time in 4 years, the MBBA has handled the rookies of the year differently. And for the second time in 3 years, no women have been announced. And maybe there's a reason for that. I don't know because they never explain. They just do it the way they do it. And my biggest omission, certainly wasn't
Dude, you know the president now. You should just inquiry. Next time Richie's on, be like, Richie, give us an answer, man. But go ahead, because
I
he's a
don't
big fan of the Wool game.
I don't know that he knows the answer why there's been two different presidents during the craziness over the last 4 years. So I don't know that he would have the answer to why.
But that is
They
wild.
I've listened to all the board meetings pretty much since then. I've never heard it addressed. I've heard it questioned, but I've never heard it addressed. But I also forgot to mention, and it was in my notes right under Male Rookie of the Year, so I don't know how I got distracted and didn't mention my disappointment in the female not being announced. But also, I forgot to give credit to the Boston Strong for winning the Sportsmanship Award. Even though the Strong got started last year, this was their first year at the World Series. They finished 17th out of the 20 teams, which was a good start for a new team, in my opinion. But they won the Sportsmanship Award, and they were given absolutely no credit. So, to my friends, Darren Black, Winter Pingle, Joe Q, and Gina Russo, I believe I'm saying Gina's last name right, going totally from memory, man. Apologies for forgetting that, but shout out to you guys for winning the sportsmanship at the 2024 World Series. Now, moving on to our world champions of the 2024 NBBA World Series. Some of you may be expecting this to be somewhat of a follow-up to our last show, but if you are, you're going to be disappointed because that's not at all what tonight's about. The night of the banquet, right after the banquet, I ran into Johnny Ma in the hallway, and I told him that I wanted to get the fire on the show right away and celebrate their championship, and that's all tonight is about. So, without any further ado, from the Philly Fire, we have Mr. Tyler Rodriguez. What up, TY?
What's up, people?
Welcome back to the show once again. Got lots of things to talk to you about. We also got his running mate up front with one arm and everything, Casey Kraus. What up, Case?
What up? What up? And Neil cleared this, but real quick, I am coaching at Capabilities Delaware right now. And to allow me to do this interview, I have to shamelessly plug it. If you know anyone who is 17 and under with a visual impairment who would like to participate in a camp, or if you'd like to donate, or if you'd like to come as a coach or a volunteer, please go to capabilitiesworld.com.
That was an awesome plug. Nothing shameless about it. Also, the capabilities is the thing that like Laura Lieberman is a big part of, right?
Yes, Laura Lieberman and Monica Lepore started it in Brockport, and now they are all over the country. So I coach at the Pennsylvania one and the Delaware one this year.
I hope that at some point I'm close enough to some of that stuff, because everything I guess first became familiar with them back in like 2014, 2015, and I love everything that it's about. So good job on you, Case. We also have Casey's dad, the pitcher of the Philly Fire, Pat Kraus. Pat's in a car, so his better half is going to be muting and unmuting him for us. We got you, Pat?
Hey, Neil. Hey, Seth. How you doing? It's good to hear your voices.
Excellent. Doing good. Glad that you're here to join us. I wasn't sure if you were going to pop in or not, so that was perfect. That was perfect. And then we also got their ringleader, the offensive MVP, the 2024 tournament, and a leader on the Fire, Johnny Ma. Thank you, Johnny, for helping me throw this together.
No problem, Neil. What's going on?
Just doing our thing. Hey, I'm going to start with you, John, because you've been sticking with this Philly team, for a long time. What stands out for you the most in this journey of getting here, finally reaching the championship?
What stands out the most? Probably where we started to where we are now. I can remember back in 2016, 2017, coming to practice with one ball that half worked, one bat. We forgot home plate. We had 4 players. We used a paper plate for home plate. So just little stuff like that when we were getting started, when it was super unorganized. Just trying to put the pieces together to actually create a team to go to the World Series, which took 3 years in itself to get us there in 2018. So to where we are now, which is, and it's really been the last 2 or 3 years, but just a much more of a well-oiled machine. The practices are run well. We have a plethora of volunteers, which we're very, very thankful for that. That was a struggle in the beginning. We had, 2 or 3 people, the Natoli's back in the day, kind of catching, pitching, spotting. So just a long road. I started playing in 2014. Didn't make it to the World Series till 2016, but things like that, putting in all the work and getting to this point just really makes it all worth it.
I like on a personal level, I know I don't know how cool this would be for you, and I would have loved seeing it too, but how happy would our boy Greg Gonturek be to bring a championship home to Philly?
Oh yeah, he would definitely be happy. And it was cool. He was part of the PA Wolfpack, and he left for a couple years, went and played with the Titans, and went and played with the Heat, I think, for a year, and then he did end up coming back to play with us. I think his last full season before his health started going downhill. So he kind of started here, ended it here, and yeah, I wish he was around for this, but I'm sure he's smiling down that we did it for sure.
Tyler, man, let me ask you kind of the same thing. I mean, you were part of 5 championships with the Thunder. You came over to the Fire. Honestly, I don't know if you would agree with this, but I feel like you had your best like individual season overall. What was this journey for the 6th championship like for you?
This one was fun because, the Thunder, like everybody split up, and a couple of the people who went to the edge, they were getting a little big headed because they started taking the lead on the rest of us. So it was nice to like catch up and make them shut up a little bit because trust me, there's a lot of crap talking coming my way.
Do
But
you go ahead?
but yeah, like I said, it was fun being on this team, and like when I came over, Casey also came to the team. Well, I know he was there like the season before, but he first World Series was my first season with the team, and like I don't know, I've become pretty close to with a lot of the players on the team, so it was nice moving a couple states away and then immediately like finding good buddies like.
Do you
Yeah.
do you agree that might have been your best individual year all the way around, offense and defense?
I mean, defense, yeah, but it was also the entire time I was on the Thunder, I was never short. So the short guys get hyped up a little bit more than the mid
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
deep guys did.
Right.
But shoot, uh, I love hitting off Pat, and like I put most of the success batting wise on him because I had Jared, but I broke up with him. But like Zach's my new man. I mean, Pat's my new man now.
No,
Hey,
I
did you find more similarities or differences between like this championship team and the like kind of the path the Thunder made in building their dynasty? Was this like was this more similar, different, or
No, I don't mean this in like a cocky way at all, but like our first when we first won, like no, like not trying to like downplay or like disrespect any other team, but like in 16 we kind of like ran through it, and like we were like completely dominant that season. But this one, like there were games where like they were close. We had to come from behind. We had games where like it came down like close to the final inning, stuff like that. And there's times where like we made three defensive stops, like three up, three down, but like in huge situations. And like we ended up coming out like 8-0 undefeated. But like they're like if we didn't stick together, like pull through as a team, like and like all the moving parts didn't like work together how perfectly they did this season. Like we could have easily like not have made it to Saturday because Gateway is a powerhouse. Thunder, you don't ever want to face Jared in a championship game. And then the defending champs, the Edge, like you can never take out the returning champ in a tournament.
definitely for the second year in a row, the top half of the tournament was very pretty well balanced, or whatever. Games could have gone either way. Casey, man, let's pop you in here. Uh, for one, it's crazy to think about the start of your career. Like your rookie year, you ended up playing with like a broken hand, broken finger, and you made it to the defensive all tournament team. Last year, you were healthy for the most part and made the offensive and defensive all tournament team. And now in your third year, you playing, with a separated shoulder, you make the offensive all-star team and win a championship. Dude, you can retire right now. You've already had a career. What was this year like for you?
Oh man. Yeah, it was crazy. And I'll say it before Tyler does. Tyler likes to call me Glass Man now because I always keep getting hurt. But uh
I had to live with all that stuff for my teammates. So
yeah. No,
he
man,
kept
it
but he
was
kept playing. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. It was a wild season. It was definitely up and down for me personally. It started great. My goal ending last season was I wanted to get stronger, so I immediately went in the gym. And so once I come into the season, I was hitting real well in the cage, and my goal was to home run. Went into Vegas and did that. So great start. And then from there, it definitely went downhill for me between obviously getting hurt in Indy and then having to miss pretty much the rest of the season. And then when DB put me one, obviously I had nothing to do with that, but clearly everyone thought I must have put myself there because for the rest of the year, all I heard was a lot of shit talk about me, cocky, douchebag, this, that, and the third, which was frustrating for me to hear because I love all the people in this league and like I'm just here to play ball and like hang out, meet cool people.
Casey,
So that
you
was
forgot
definitely
dickhead
frustrating.
too.
Oh, sorry, I forgot dickhead too. But yeah, anyone who knows me on the field, I'm very loud, I'm very animated. But anyone who's played against me also knows it's never directed at the other team. Usually, I'm yelling at myself or I'm cheering people on. So that definitely hurt, but it definitely also made it that much sweeter to win at the end.
I don't know, for what it's worth. I talk to a lot of people in this league, and I'm not saying the feedback you're getting is not coming, but I've never heard anybody talk about you like that. And I've interacted with you enough that if they did with me, I would put a stop to, because I've found you to be a cool dude. We did have another guest join us. I'll pop him in a minute. But going back to the Las Vegas tournament where the season mostly started, I had the opportunity to do the stream for the MBBA when you guys played the Blackhawks for third place. And you were tripping me out. I didn't even notice when you guys, when my Sirens played your team, that you were doing all that like like screaming out stuff from the field or whatever. And when Kendra, my play-by-play partner, was like, "Yeah, that's Casey's," like, that's crazy. It sounded nothing like you out there screaming. So you're a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
you're a lot
always
of
fun on
fun
the
out there.
field.
Before we announce our guest that just joined us, Pat, man, I'm still gonna bring you in. Talk about it from your perspective. You probably never even heard of this game, beat baseball, like 4 or 5 years ago. Now all of a sudden you're the starting pitcher of the championship team. What's the run been like for you?
Well, Neil, it's probably been one of the best journeys for me as an athlete. I played semi-pro baseball. I've done a lot in my own lifetime, but this sport has opened my eyes. I've only been involved with it for about 3 years. I still remember to the day when my wife said, "Hey, Casey wants to play this sport called beat baseball. They need volunteers." And Casey has three other. He has another brother and two other sisters. So we're used to being dad taxi, mom taxi. I'm like, oh, great, another thing I have to take my kid to. But I took him to this practice, and as soon as I got there, I was like, oh my gosh, this might be the coolest thing I've ever been involved with. And it had me from within the first 5 minutes of being there. I'm like, this might be the coolest thing I've ever been involved in. And it's morphed to this now. And I mean, there's so much more to it, but to try to condense it and everything, it's been a great experience for my family. My wife's involved. Obviously, my older son, Colin, is now a volunteer on a team. He's a great catcher for us. He does a lot of good things for the batters and the players on that team. He's a good balance for them. This season, I'll try to keep it as again, I'm going to try to condense this because I'm driving right now.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that this season went into. First and foremost, with any team, there's a lot of ups and downs that go during a season, and I really got to take my hat off to John and Scott Hogwood, because John Marges and Scott Hogwood, because they're the yin and yang of this team. They kept everything on an even balance throughout the whole year. It's not easy managing players. It's not easy managing personalities, but that's what championship teams do. Everybody's their own individual, but at the end of the day, we've got to do what's best for the team. We've had, outside of, what every other team goes through, we went through a lot of injuries this year. First and foremost, we're not a very deep team to begin with. So we had a lot of injuries to go through, obviously with Justin with his knee surgery at the beginning of the season, and with Casey going down with his shoulder injury. But it really allowed us to do some things. Going back to last year, we always knew we were always going to be a good offensive team. I think everybody knows that we can hit. That's not an issue, but I made a comment last year. We beat Bayou City last year in a game 40-33, and which is great. You're putting up 40 runs, but we couldn't get off the field.
Yeah.
And that's what led us to a 4th place finish last year. So, we go into the next season, and, one of the first things I mentioned to the players was, hey, if we're going to win this World Series, we've got to get better on defense. And after we came back from Vegas, and again, we didn't bring our whole team to Vegas, not a big deal. It was more, the Vegas tournament for me was more about getting repetitions with our 2 outside people being Cesar Lascano in Arizona, but also Nick Silver in St. Louis, who I don't get a chance to deal with a lot. And for me, it was a win both ways. One, here on the East Coast, we really don't get on a field until sometime in May, late April, May. Well, we were on a field in March, which was great. That was a great head start for us. But more importantly, was get repetitions with our players, but more importantly, get repetitions with Nick and Cesar. But at the same time was being able to look at other teams and, hey, I'm not going to lie to you. Every team steals ideas from other teams. So just kept watching defenses. And like, I kept saying to our team, like, we've got to get better defensively. If we're going to win a World Series, we're not going to win it offensively. We've got to win it by defense. And, our players, I give them all the credit in the world, because it's not easy changing things, but we started it after that Vegas tournament with changing up our defense, talking to each of the players, trying to figure out what works for them, what doesn't. And we completely revamped our defense. When I started volunteering here back in 2021, we really didn't put a whole lot of emphasis on defense. So, we go to our practices, we might practice defense for about 30, 45 minutes, and then we hit. Well, now our practices our 3-hour practice, 2 hours of our practice is devoted to defense.
Applaud that.
And going forward, like, especially this year, playing in the Indy tournament, very slow fields. Then we went to Bolingbrook. We finally got an opportunity to play at Bolingbrook, and obviously the weather wasn't great, but the fields weren't as slow as Indy, but at the same time they weren't fast. And I had talked to somebody, I forget who I spoke with there, and I'm like, well, how are these fields compared to St. Louis? And he's like, oh, they're comparable to St. Louis, which to me was, oh, okay, good. Now we've got a plan in place. We have to get better. We have to work on defense. And first and foremost, mind's eye, St. Louis, best fields I've ever seen. It made such an even playing field because it brought all 3 facets of the game out. It brought not only offense, but it brought, you got to be able to run directly to the base, but more importantly, you got to be able to play defense. And yes, we did. Every game we put up double-digit runs, which is a great thing. However, we won this World Series this year because of defense. There were games, the Thunder, Archers. I even go back to the Renegades when we played them in the Beast of the East, the first leg of the Beast of the East. We were losing that first leg. We were down. I want to say it was probably about 10-3 or something like that. However, after that 3rd inning, our defense clamped down and we just clawed our way back in, and we were able to win that first leg of the Beast of the East, which led to the second leg. But the other thing, again, I'm jumping all over the place. Having these injuries was not, nobody wants to go through injuries.
Yeah.
I always make the comment, like, I could never play this game because it's such a physical game. I would never play this even in my best days. I don't know how these players do it because it's like playing football without pads. But these injuries, when they happen, like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? But you know what? It forced us as a team to get better each player. I mean, our practices, we were putting players in different positions that they'd never been involved in before. We found out that Dakota Hogwood could play a short right. And Megan Fink could actually not only play a short right, but could play a deep right. We could take Casey and put him to a deep left and, moving people around. And I think moving people around in practice actually made us better because, one, they started to understand more about everybody else's responsibilities, but it made us more flexible. And, when you went through that whole season when you go through our whole season from the time that, Justin got hurt, Justin wasn't available for any of the tournaments, and then Casey gets hurt. We were pretty much depleted as a team, but and I think John will echo this too, because John and I had talked about this too. When you start looking at the scores, when those games, we weren't losing by much. We were losing by a run or two. And it was like, all right, something's good going on here. And once we started getting everybody healthy, once we got past the beast of the East, I remember we were at a practice and I was telling this is the most optimistic I came into a World Series. And I was telling our players, like, there's no doubt in my mind we're winning this thing right now because we've gone through the most adversity of any other team that I know of. And we've been competitive and we can do some things. And even during the World Series, Casey re-separating his shoulder. Well, no big deal because we've had to move people around before, not a problem. The championship game where Justin, he pulls his hamstring. Well, our biggest thing was like, the comment we started discussing about taking him out of the game early. And I was like, well, I don't want to take him out of the game because we need his defense in deep left. And of course, he makes the last put out of the game. That's what I could have cared less about offense at that point. We needed him for an out, and he got us that out. And then I don't know if anybody knows this, but during the World Series, Dakota Hogwood broke her arm. So
I had no idea.
Yeah, we just found that out today. But again, and she broke her arm in a game, and she continued to play through the game, and I think she made a put out in that game too. So, again, it's we went through a lot of adversity this year, and I'm really proud of our players because they had to be very flexible. They had to be very persistent. And I talk to them all the time about when we get in games, like these games are grinds. They're very, one of the comments I always make to players is when we talk to our team is like, I want you to play with emotion, but you can't be emotional during the game.
All right, Pat,
and
you're giving away too many trade secrets now.
Yeah, wrap it up, dude. Holy cow!
All right, well, I'm driving, so I'm bored. So
you pointed out that you're all over the place, but I'd like to point out you started by saying I'm going to condense this. So thank you for not giving us the long version, Pat.
That was the short version.
He doesn't know how to be short. He doesn't know how to be brief.
That's my wife, by the way, getting involved.
That's Mama Fran, right? Is that what we're
Mama Francis.
Mama
yeah.
Francis. All right. Good to meet you. I never had a chance. Hey,
usually we just let Neil go on that long.
You're cutting into my time, Pat.
Neil don't have enough talk time anymore. Come on.
I'll mute him. I'll give you guys a break.
I'm just like, he's giving away everything we've done. Everyone's just gonna copy the model now. Same song.
Hey, back while we were talking to Casey, man, another guest popped in who I'm glad joined us. I wanted him to be part of this tonight. A few years ago, the Fire picked up this player And I remember the first year he played with the Fire. I talked on the show about what a good fit I thought it was, and obviously they think so because they've kept him all this time, getting to win a championship in his hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. Sir Nicholas Silver, you still with us, Nick?
Yeah, man. What up? I'm on Bam Bam time. My bad, y'all. I was napping. Uh,
That's usually why he's late too. Dude, how
you know
you
how we do
feeling?
it.
How you feeling,
I'm
Nick?
feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling real good. I'm healthy, and we got a ring. Can't be too disappointed in life.
Made
Do
the
you
off.
got anything to say to your haters, Nick Silver?
They know who I am. I'm St. Louis all day, baby. Yes,
Congrats on
sir.
making the offensive all-star team with your teammates Casey and Johnny Ma. Talk about the championship journey for you. What stands out to you, Nick?
Yeah, man. It's a blessing to be a part of. These things because I live in St. Louis. Play with Philly, and they're out busting their butts every Saturday. Practicing, and I'm just doing my best to kind of stay in shape and keep my head down, just grind. Doing things I can do at home that can translate to the field and that can help this team win. And so show up and get an assignment and get it done. So that's what I did, and the hard work paid off.
Let me ask you specifically because I know I came across a post you put up about this, about the year you had offensively, and just talking about how like you were able to stay mentally strong. I mean, I've my interactions with you, you've always shown to have like a strong, confident personality. But you talked about how this year you didn't let yourself get too much inside your head. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, a lot of times it's not even like the noise on the field. Sometimes it's kind of stuff in the background. And on this team, we didn't have any drama off the field. We came out on a mission, and that's what we did. And the whole week was cool, calm, and collected. So when it comes to me, if we want Pat to shut up, sometimes we just need to hand him a ball and tell him to pitch because he's straight to the point on the mound. It's not our business. You tell me not to overthink it, not to overthink the process, and just do what we do, and that's what we did all week, and the results were what they were. I was fortunate enough. I didn't get put out. I didn't get put out in the game until the championship game on Saturday. All my other putouts were strikeouts. So
Ah,
um,
so it's Pat's fault that you weren't the MVP. Did I
no,
hear
no.
that right?
I will say that if I had put up 2 runs against the Thunder, me and John would have been fighting out for the MVP. But it well deserved. John, stood up and manned up all week and put the ball pound out hits all week. So kudos to him for getting MVP and Case. It's never a bad thing when you can have two of your teammates on the All-Star team with you.
Yeah, no, you guys made up half the team, so obviously a very impressive year. So look, it's late where all you guys are. Pat's in the car. Seth has a meeting to get to. I don't have anything else like prepared to throw at you guys. Seth, did you have something you wanted to ask the group? I'll take it
um,
there.
no, actually, I did watch that championship game. I thought that was a good game. Um, in the end, uh, how do you think jumping out to that lead kind of affected your team? Were you guys like, man, we got this? You're never coming back on 10 runs, or were you guys like, still like nervous and stuff like that? When did you feel like you guys had it in the bag?
Well, come, but you're asking me or the
Anybody,
Yeah,
if
you
you
could all
do,
jump in.
from my perspective, when Friday came and we knew we were facing the Archers, on Thursday. Let's see. No, yeah, on Friday. So when I knew we were facing the Archers on Friday, the storybook for me just kind of came together. They're the hometown team, and I got mad respect for those guys over there. They're athletes, and as an athlete, you always want to play the best. And so when it came to that, it was just it was they beat us in Indy 19-4. They had been talking mess about that the whole year. So we wanted that. I wanted that win for this team, and wanted to do my part to help us win. And then we got to Saturday, and I said we're gonna see them again on Saturday. And I was in the pool on Friday, and they came back and walked off on the Thunder. And I didn't want I didn't want to face Jared in the championship game. Anybody in this game, that's the last person I wanted to face was Jared. And so Gateway showed up, walked him off. And for me, it was just it was the way that I could have envisioned it for myself personally. But for the team, the fact that you know come Saturday, we had already beat them on Friday, so there wasn't any pressure to beat them. Whatever, the only thing that we said was that we wanted to start our rally instead of the fifth. We wanted to start it a little earlier. We didn't expect it to be in the first, but we'll take it. And
Yeah,
that's what happened. Came
because
out.
Thursday or Friday we were down 9-3 after 3 innings, I believe. And then it was
Yeah.
We're down
9-5.
9-3. Yeah.
So that's one of the things we said Saturday morning. Said, look, guys, we're capable of putting up a big inning. Let's just not wait till the fifth or sixth to do it. But
Yeah, exactly.
we did pull everyone in after that first inning because it's nice to put up 10 and you're up 10-3, but again, you're in the championship game, so the other team you're playing is capable of putting up runs in bunches, obviously. So just pulled everyone in and said, let's stay calm. There's still a long way to go. By no means, I don't think any of us felt like the game was over. I mean, we're happy with the result of the first inning, but I don't think we felt like the game was over either. So,
Seth.
Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say the same thing. I think the big thing was that fifth inning Friday, because everyone on our team could tell you we were definitely tight that game Friday. And seeing what we did in that fifth inning, I think no matter what, we were loose, no matter what happened that Saturday game, because we're like, dude, we can put runs on anyone when we need to. We just got to play defense. So yeah, we put up 10. It was nice, but we're like, we got to go play defense now, and they're gonna come back. But no one was ever stressing. Even when they started coming back late, we're like, dude, we know, and they know what we did to them yesterday. We're like, we're gonna be fine. Everyone just stay calm.
It's funny to hear you keep talking about the fifth inning on Friday. Don Robinson, for the Dogs, he always used to preach about the fifth inning. He'd say, you have to win the fifth inning. Out of all the innings, you have to win the fifth inning. And I think you guys lost actually the fifth inning in the just who scores the most runs in the championship game. And I remember sitting there like, man, this is a little odd, man. I don't know, man. Maybe they're going to fall apart here, but I just find it interesting to hear you guys point back to that last fifth inning and talk about how important it was. Because I definitely was paying attention to the fifth inning in that championship game and a little nervous for y'all.
Yeah, I think it was 18-10 in the fifth. And
You
they
guys
put
were
3.
winning. I was just talking about in
Yeah.
the inning, the individual innings.
Yeah. They put
Yeah.
up 3, I think, in the fifth.
yeah, we didn't put up any.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
put up
I was like, oh man, you guys got that's not so good in the fifth, but you guys handled your business in the sixth. So.
Seth's question reminded me, and you guys touched on it a little bit, but that turnaround in Friday's game, in the undefeated game, you guys were down 9-3 at one point and then won that game 17-9. That's a huge turnaround. What stands out about I mean, did you guys just like reach another level on defense? Like, what stands out to you guys on that turnaround?
I have something to say about that. Man, Neil, it was tough. Like I didn't score a run till that undefeated game. Last time I scored a run was my first run in the Heat game on Wednesday. So I was in a bit of a dry spell. I think I was like 0 for 15. And in that fifth inning, I broke the seal on that shit. So yeah, so I think,
So you're the reason for the comeback. Am I hearing that right?
I mean, there's one person not scoring in the starting lineup. So as soon as I start scoring, we put up 12, and like you can connect the dots. But yeah,
Any,
it was tough. That's like momentum's a bitch in a game, and like we I don't think that's the biggest comeback I've ever been a part of. I like especially like in a game like that is because Gateway's not a scrub.
no,
I guarantee like I guarantee in this league, what two top teams it is very very rare to put up 12 in one inning on anybody.
just to have that kind of a turnaround against another top team, period. Like it's not that's something that's going to stand out, I would think, to you guys and other people for a long time. It was an impressive turnaround.
And to put up 12 on slow fields. I mean, these fields played as true as any field I've seen in my 12 years of playing. So, to put up
Yeah.
12 is just a testament to, we grinded, we want them back, we want the bases. Pat put the ball on top of the bat, and we hit a lot of balls, we hit a lot of fly balls, we cut the ball in the air, and against good teams, that's what you got to do. You got to give yourself a chance. And
It wasn't that they were missing the balls. I mean, maybe one they had a chance or two, but the majority of the hits were just shots. There's not a lot you can do when the ball's in the air going 150, 140 on average each one. So,
Right.
and they had some too,
Yeah, you kind of got one chance. You got to kind of just lay down and hope it bounces right to you. So,
Yeah, and Tyler talked about the momentum, man. You could just feel it because we were tight, but then I still remember the comment our Cindy made, our volunteer, because she was helping bring people back from the bases. And after about fifth or sixth run, I think it was Tyler scored, and she goes, "I'm not even going to walk you back because the whole team's running across the field to come get you." And that was the fun part. Is just every run, we just felt that momentum keep going. We got four guys sprinting across the field to go bring the dude back in, and we're like, okay, we're winning this game.
Yeah, and then the reality started to kind of set in that it's 17-9, 17. We need three outs, and we're playing on Saturday. All right. So,
that's fun. That's good stuff. Well, fellas, before I let you all get out of here, anything you guys want to throw out there? Anything we didn't touch on that you'd like to touch on?
I got one more thing to say.
All right.
Last time I was on the show, I made a prediction, and I almost hit that shit right on the head. Only thing that didn't come true is we didn't get to face the edge, and then we didn't get the 12 run. But besides that, it tickled me. It tickled me in a very. It tickled me in places that put Jared out of the tournament. That was, and then the avenge the Gateway loss, how we did. And don't get me wrong, they whooped our ass worse than we whooped their ass. Yeah. But it was pretty comparable to come back like that. It wasn't 19-4, but it was close-ish.
It was just to go to the championship game.
Yeah, that's all.
I just before we jump off, and you guys can help me with this because we got a big roster, but from top to bottom, our entire roster, I think we had 14 players, 10 or so volunteers. People playing different days, different tournaments. People stepping up in the Beast of the East to still win that for the fourth year, even though it's not the World Series. I just kind of want to quickly shout out, and again, if I miss anyone, Scott Hogwood, Justin Rhines was a beast, made the last play of the game, Cesar Lascano, Mike Jackson, Dakota Hogwood, Megan Fink, Ron Hawthorne, Frank O'Neill. Who am I missing, guys? Lexi, Sean Walker.
Cindy from Indy.
Zach.
Just mentioned Cindy from Indy, even though she's from Philly now.
Zach Moyer.
Hold on. There's one more player that if I forget, I'll be in a lot of trouble. Gina Natoli.
Oh, yeah.
Please don't let me forget that.
Just a little bit of trouble.
Put that pillow up on the couch tonight, John.
Yeah. So, Zach Moyer, Mike Ricardo, Francis Krause, Colin Krause, Matt Galante.
Jeffrey Rhines. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Jeffrey Rhines.
Did you mention other Matt?
Oh, Matt Collius, who actually played with us all year but didn't travel to the World Series. So it was just even guys like that some weeks maybe we only had 6 players is a huge difference not having a hole. somewhere, which in years past, sometimes we'd only have 4 or 5 players and not a lot of volunteers. So, and obviously, last but not least, out of all the volunteers, I think I got everyone, but if I didn't, I apologize. Is Pat Krause, who just absolutely killed it this year pitching. Yeah, he was just really, really in the zone all week, and he did after our last practice. We went and had a pint together, and he said, "We're winning this thing this year. I know it." And he was pretty serious, and you know, I believed him, and we felt like we had a good chance, and it's just awesome, man. Awesome to be working for this for all these years, and it feels good to finally get it. So,
Yeah,
we ain't done yet.
when
oh no,
when John and I got in touch, and he was asking me, you know, what I was looking for. I was like, man, I just wanted, you know, all of you are welcome. Come, you know, we could all just get on and celebrate. It's like, dude, there's like 30 people as part of our group. I was like, well, maybe
I
we'll
told
just
you. I said, Nick, you have to pick because I don't want to leave anybody out. So you just select, you know, because it's hard once you get past 6 or 7 or 8. It's a lot of voices.
Yeah.
So.
No, you're absolutely correct. So I invited the starting lineup and Pat to come on. Unfortunately, Scott Hogwood gets up early and Justin Rhines is busy, and they weren't able to make it. But I appreciate the group that did make it. I appreciate you guys, and congratulations for your championship.
Thanks, man.
Hey, man, thanks for having us. Thanks for giving us an opportunity to do this. Appreciate it.
Of course, my pleasure.
Hey, can I just say one thing?
Nope.
I'm glad the city of Philly will get one championship this
Finally,
year.
finally, we broke
Phillies
it.
are gonna get another one. Hopefully here in
Well,
October.
no,
Yankees.
Okay,
You
so
know,
as long as
hopefully.
we're clear. Well, you know, I don't know anything about the Flyers or
Yeah.
the baseball or whatever, but as long as we're clear that the Eagles
And I'd
ain't
love to
going
say
nowhere.
something, but I'm on a pitch count, so I'm
as
not allowed to
long as
talk.
the Eagles don't go anywhere, we will all
Go
be
ahead.
happy. But I
Go-
do need the belt. So hey, good year though. Good year.
Yeah.
Stop
Thanks,
cheering.
Seth. Go ahead, Pat.
Yeah,
Pat
go
wants to
ahead,
jump
Pat.
in.
Pat's
Oh,
gonna
no. I'm not saying anything else because apparently I'm giving away secrets and I'm taking up too much time.
get
I was just
Pat's
worried
a-
about the
Pat's a Yankees
secrets,
fan.
not the time, Pat. I just didn't want you to give out any
Hey,
more trade secrets. That's all.
you know, trade secrets. It's all about hard work. It's about players being, you know, getting into the team mentality of it and literally thinking about the fact like, hey, you know, hey, it's great we put 3 players on the all offensive team, but at the end of the day, you know, this whole season, you could have just picked any game and somebody else did something different. You know, the first leg of the Beast of the East, nobody talks about, you know, John Margis with his defensive play winning that, you know, the Renegades game and Dakota Hogwood making a huge play against in the 7th inning. And then the second leg of the Beast of the East, nobody talks about the fact like, I mean, Tyler was an absolute stud during that time, but Cesar Lascano, just with his offensive play in the second leg of the Beast of the East. I mean, you could have just taken anybody. You name one person, and they did something very this season. And I think for our players, once they figured that out, like, you know what? And we've said this before, and I've said it to the team too. And John, I'm not giving away a secret because it's not, you know, it's an age old thing.
Hold on.
You know,
Before you get going too, I
yeah,
really
get your
got to
pencil
jump.
out, Seth. Get your pencil out. You need to write this down.
I got to jump. I got 12 minutes to get to a board
Well, I'm
meeting.
telling you right now, like I understand about the statistics of everything and stuff like that, but I tell our team, the one thing I always mention to our guys, like our team is like, there's only 2 things that we should really be concerned about. And there's 2 stats we worry about. That's wins and losses. And once they bought into that, we kind of took off from there because at the end of the day, it didn't matter what the stats were. We could have put nobody on the offense or defensive team, but you know that trophy meant more than anything else. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm out. Thanks for having me.
No, and in the end, you bet. And in the end, like we've talked about it on the show, like to win a championship, you really got to get the whole roster to buy in, and that's what you're talking about. Like everybody bought in and did their part. Seth and I were part of championships, and the teams we were on had big personalities and big egos. But everybody, the reason we had success is the same reason you guys had success this year, because everybody put their own ego and their own whatever aside and bought in as a group. And so congratulations to you guys for doing that. That is it for this episode, but we will keep coming back with more and more. So we look forward to seeing you next time. Everybody, be well until then. All right, we're off the line.
All right, you guys. Thanks, man. We will talk to you.